Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor. We're back here with another One Leeds episode. We're back here updating you guys on everything at Leeds United. We've got a fair few things to discuss. Many things have gone on in the world of football. Well, after the video that I did yesterday, please make sure you check that out if you haven't already done so. Please make sure you're liking the video, commenting, subscribing. We've got another episode on the Patreon if you want to do that. If you want to check out some bonus content during this international break, we've got Across the Pond, link in the description below if you want to sign up to that. We've got merchandise. Loads of you guys getting involved, which is really, really nice to see as well. You're loving the stuff. You're giving us good ratings and stuff like that. Link to that is in the description below. I've done a little bit of a collab with Back 4. If you want some international statistics, analysis on the games that have been, the games that we're going to speak about as well, you can do that via the link in the description below, the affiliate link, One Leeds via SofaScore. Make sure you do that, everybody. And without any further ado, let's get into today's Leeds United news. So, off the bat, I wanted to speak about Sinister. I wanted to speak about Tyler Adams. Why, Connor? Why are you giving them airtime again? Well, I think it's more on a positive light. And the reason I'm mentioning these two in particular is because at this moment in time, you've seen a pairing that have left Leeds United for probably around about 48 million quid who are ridden with injury. Absolutely riddled, I should say, with injury. And once again, Sinister came off for Colombia the other night, which was to the despair of the coach. Obviously, he was playing up front essentially with Luis Diaz for the Colombia national side, and he hobbled off injured, which is another issue for AFC Bournemouth. And listen, they've had issues with Tyler Adams throughout his entire tenure there. Apparently, he's still not back to full fitness. I know he came on the other day, but apparently they're trying to get him match fit. Is that going to reoccur? And when it comes to injuries, Sinister always had problems at Leeds. I do feel with his technical ability, he really could be a top 10 player, top 6 player. But I think the injuries are always going to hold him back, which, listen, we're not here to be a Sinister fan club, but we know what heights he could get to when he was on his day. The problem is his day wasn't there often enough. And the thing with Tyler Adams is we didn't see enough really of him as well in the Leeds United shirt. So can he consistently not only perform to the highest expectancy when it comes to Bournemouth and obviously the transfer fee that they outlaid for him, but can he remain fit? Is he dependable? Is he reliable? That's going to be the key question. But that 48 million combined figure looks pretty good right now from a Leeds United perspective. As well, everybody, we saw, disappointingly for Glenn Kamara, but really joyfully for Rodon, Ampadu, James and Connor Roberts. We saw a 4-1 demolition job of Finland last night by the Welsh, which I think we're all in sort of like the Welsh camp. I'll be honest with you right now, I care more about Wales than I do England. And that is no family affiliation. That is no general affiliation. That is because we've got 4 Leeds United players in and amongst that side, and I am very much club over country. So it's one of those things where I just want the lads to do well. I want them to get out completely injury-free. I want them to perform well. And we saw something very, very good last night. Obviously, Brooks getting on the score sheet, Nico Williams. But our man, Dan James, also got on the score sheet with a classic Dan James goal, which was him hunting down Dash, the Incredibles, speed-esque ball and just absolutely hounding down a defender who had no idea Dan James was coming. He came out of absolutely nowhere, robbed him of the ball and put it into the back of the net with a really tidy finish. That's now 13 goals for Dan James and 10 assists this season. Staggering numbers at any level. And not only is he just doing it for Leeds United, but he is doing it for Wales as well. I was surprised he didn't start, to be honest with you. I was, but obviously he came on, made a big impact. I thought the Welsh were sort of 2 or 3 yards up the pitch when he came on, and that's because of his intensity when it comes to his pressing. But yeah, I thought Rob Page would have started him. I'm happy he didn't start him, really, because it means that Dan James has longer to recover. It means he's not been on the pitch as long. It means he's not got sort of a longer period of time to get injured. So, yeah, happy with that. Rodon was immense. I watched the game again. Ampadu distributing passes left, right and centre. And people are telling me he's better at centre-back. What an absolute load of rubbish. Obviously, it's a little bit systematically different under Rob Page, but you're just seeing his distribution last night. You know, left foot, right foot, mid to long range passing. He can do it all in that midfield. And that is why I've said from the start, I want him back in midfield. But listen, he was unbelievable last night, and all the lads, even Connor Roberts, shout out to him as well, was really decent last night as well. And the Welsh, obviously, it looks like now are going to progress, which is great for the nation, great for Leeds United as well. And I think when it comes to a mentality, you're going to see them coming back, the lads, and been absolutely buoyed by that. You don't really want them coming back after a loss. They're very, very patriotic, all four of them. They talk about their love for Wales a hell of a lot. You don't want them coming back with 8 games to go psychologically and feeling a little bit deflated. You want them on cloud 9. So it's great news for Leeds United. A little bit of extra Leeds United news as well. The Bielsa return to the Basque Country. Obviously, Marcelo coached Bilbao, and it looks like he's going to be playing Uruguay, going to be playing the Basque Country, which is obviously going to be comprised of players in that area. And they're going to be playing Marcelo Bielsa's Uruguay, which is going to be very interesting. I think it's obviously being played in the Basque Country as well, in and around Spain. So it's going to be viewable on TV, and I think I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that one as the ex-Leeds United manager takes on his ex-club in Bilbao as well. But he still preferred Leeds, we all know that. Willie Gnonto has done an interview as well where he's spoken about Daniel Farke's training methods. He's spoken about Patrick Bamford. He's spoken and essentially said Pat Bamford does a hell of a lot more than people think. He's so vital to the team. Interesting when he's talking about Pat, and he almost brought it from nowhere really and started speaking about the striker. And I think, listen, he's not wrong. And the thing is, it's a very weird platform, this. And when I say a weird platform, I mean there's a bunch of weirdos who can't seem to understand that form plays a massive part in your depiction of a player and how that player can evolve throughout a season and you can change your opinion. It's mental. You know, I have mates who change their opinion. You see podcasters, you hear journalists, you hear, just general football fans who change their opinion on players because the player has proved them wrong. It's really simple. I'm not an I told you so merchant. We know a lot of who those sort of peoples are in your friendship group online, whatever. But Pat Bamford has completely this season changed my opinion of him. And Willie Gnonto sort of clarified that in terms of how good he has been. And when I've sort of come on speaking about Pat Bamford, I always feel like I have to give a bit of a disclaimer that I did think he was tripe and we should have sold him. But at the same time, tripe's maybe a bit harsh, not tripe, but I did think he wasn't up to much and Leeds United could have reinforced. And I did mention Keith Moore has been a direct replacement. I don't think that was a bad shout from what we've seen right now. But Listen, overall in the Championship, he's been very, very decent, Pat Bamford, and Willie Gnonto was glowing about him, said he's so important to the team. And do we keep Pat Bamford in the Premier League? I personally wouldn't, but I think right now he's doing a really, really decent job for Leeds United, and that's great to hear from someone like Willie Gnonto, that it's not only us who think that as a fan base, Daniel Farke, but it's also the players as well. He was speaking about Daniel Farke and saying the thing he almost loves the most about him as well is how he's encouraging him, challenging him, saying he's not at his sort of ultimate ceiling. And we know that with Gnonto because it's the guy who's going to be probably the poster boy for Italy in the next, cup competitions and all this sort of stuff. And Farke knows what level he can get to. We know what level he's been at from such a young age. And it really is credit to him. Oh, and let's end on it, everybody. Leicester City. Oh, my goodness. Now, there's so much to delve into here. The cheats, all this sort of stuff. You look at the teams that finished above Leeds United last season, pretty much all 3 of them have been done or are being, about to be sort of like. And we'll finish off everybody with Leicester City. It looks like they're going to be charged by the Premier League if they do get back there, which is interesting in itself because what does that mean with the EFL? Does that mean the EFL are going to charge them? I think Leicester are going to have a lot of problems if they remain in the EFL anyway when it comes to financial borrowings, when it comes to players that they need to get rid of that are going to go for a minuscule of what they would do in the Premier League. So I think they're in a lot of trouble even if they stay down in the EFL without the charges, to be honest with you. But I'm not saying that's correct. But yeah, my opinion on it is PSF is an absolute joke as it is anyway. The financial constraints of which we are run by in the Premier League. It has a ceiling. You've got a level of wealth in the top 6, which have already reaped the rewards of the financial system, which a lot of it is overseas broadcast rights and revenue. And I just feel that it is so in favour of the top 6 that if you show any ambition whatsoever, like Leicester did, to be honest, you are cut off. And we're seeing that with Villa. We're seeing that with Newcastle, where they are going to struggle. Now, the rules are in place for a specific reason. We all know that. But I just think it sort of kills any hope, any sort of, realisation that you can break that top 6 and become part of it. It's a closed club. We know that. listen, there was an article written by Miguel Delaney not long ago, which essentially said we don't need any more Leicester Cities. We don't want any more Leicester Cities. And the voice of that has pretty much come from a senior Premier League guy who isn't named in this specific article. And then 8 months later, the Super League was created. You know, it's an absolute sham. It's an absolute sham. Now, Leicester have sold Wesley Fofana for 75 million quid, Maddison for 45 million quid, Tielemans obviously went on a free, but they have sold a lot of players for a lot of money, and they are still struggling to stay within those financial constraints. Now, I am not saying for one that they have done right, you know. Other clubs seem to do it. Other clubs are able to stay within those financial constraints. But it leads you to think right now that there are going to be more and more and more problems with any club showing any form of ambition to get near to the top six, which as Leeds United fans, we sort of hope one day we can do that. But is it even realistic anymore? These top six clubs might have these financial restraints, and it's all dependent on what you spend and what you do. But they've already got the benefits from this, from years and years and years of financial reward. You know, stuff like PSR, though, it needs 14 votes in the Premier League. We know that, you know, out of 20 votes, it needs 14 votes almost to pass. So it's not completely its own entity, the Premier League. We know that clubs do have a voice, but there is absolutely no doubt from my perspective that it is completely limiting competition, and they're trying to make it an even playing field when it never has been an even playing field, and it completely is benefiting the top six. And any competition which gets near to these guys, it's a big issue. You know, you cannot literally compete with the top six sides because you're going to have to overspend to get there. You know, 2 or 3 years time, 3 or 4 years time, 5 or 6 years time is probably more likely we try compete if we're in the Premier League. We can't do it because you overspend and you're in trouble. So what do? Villa are probably going to face problems in the next year or so for trying to compete. Newcastle definitely are. We know that already. So it's an absolute joke, and Masters is overseeing an absolute sham at the minute. And I think there needs to be another look at what we're seeing right now, because the distribution of wealth is just a joke in the Premier League. It's the richest league in the world, but that top six, it's their own mini league, and we all know that right now. But it's such a shame because it kills any sort of hope. That's been it from me, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We've had lots to talk about today. Really interested to hear what you think. Make sure you check on over to the Patreon. Let me know what you think. YouTube memberships are open as well. £2 a month to join. Guys, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy your weekend. We'll have some more content over there as well, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.